What can Africa do to secure her economy? What can Africa do to secure her economy? Africa is endowed with vast natural resources. From West Africa, North Africa, East Africa, and South Africa, Central Africa. So we must have a plan to be able to secure our economy. So what can we do to secure Africa's economy? In 1978 in China, a new leader emerged after Mao, Chairman Mao, and his name was Deng Xiaoping. And he had a plan to prepare China for the global economy. So for the next perhaps 20 years, they invested in ports and special economic zones. And today, the top 10 busiest seaports in the world, 9 are in China. Talk of Shanghai Port, Ningbo, Qingdao, Guangzhou. China made investments in the seaports and in the special economic zones to prepare themselves to become the world's factory. So they had the advantage of a large population and a long coastline. And so by the time China was joining the World Trade Organization in 2001, they were prepared for it. And from that time, they have become the world's second largest economy. They secured the economy by investing in ports and in special economic zones, in factories, and by that, using their economies of scale, the production in China became the lowest in the world. And many American companies, European companies shifted their manufacturing to China. And so what should we do as Africa to secure our economy? So there is something called the African Continental Free Trade Area. I know many Africans don't know about this. The African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area agreement is supposed to make Africa a free trade area. It was established in 2018, ratified in 2019, May in Kigali, Rwanda, and it came to effect on the 1st of January 2021. And it's going to be the largest free market area by the number of countries involved, 55 countries of Africa. And the African Continental Free Trade Area agreement is supposed to remove every barrier, all barriers to trade, free movement of goods and services and people among African countries. So African countries should start embracing the African Continental Free Trade Area. This involves reducing tariff barriers on particular goods. And for Africa to really benefit from this free trade agreement, we need to invest in roads that connect African countries. Like at the moment, it's difficult to go by road from Eastern DRC, let's say from Goma to Kinshasa. There's just no road in between connecting east and west of the DRC. So African countries should come together for joint infrastructure development projects, like the one we have in East Africa. It's called LAPSET, between Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Sudan. Whereby they came together as three governments, three countries, put their money together to build the Lamu port and railways and roads connecting the Lamu port to South Sudan and Ethiopia. So this is the way to go for Africa. Hi, Diallo Mamadou. Diallo Mamadou, hi. Yes, you can like the video, you can subscribe. So Africa must invest in a road network, and we must do it together as African countries. With the DRC having joined the East African Community, the East African Community and the African Development Bank, they can put money to connect the port of Mombasa to Kinshasa. Have a road network from Goma to Kinshasa to connect the DRC to Mombasa, to ease the movement of goods and people to the DRC from East Africa and from other countries. So this also applies for West Africa, South Africa, and North Africa as well. So the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which has come into effect in 2021, I'm appealing to African states to embrace this agreement, open up their countries to their fellow African neighbors and other African countries, so that we can have traders from Ghana coming to Kenya. We have traders from South Africa. They can go all the way to Nigeria and vice versa. And this will increase business in Africa, will improve our economy. And we'll need this infrastructure bond, like the regional blocks, ECOWAS in West Africa, SADC in Southern Africa, to come together, pull money together, and build roads connecting those countries to make the movement of goods easier. That's one way of securing our economy. Africa also has the world's largest arable land that can be cultivated for food. We should also support agriculture, support our farmers with organic seeds, ensure that they have storage for their organic seeds, for maize, beans, sorghum, rice, any other food, so that Africa can be food secure and can be even able to sell food to other continents. Then I suggest that Africa establishes the African Sovereign Wealth Fund. The African Sovereign Wealth Fund, because Africa has a lot of resources. The mineral wealth in Eastern DRC alone is worth 24 trillion US dollars. 24 trillion US dollars is the value of the minerals in the eastern part of the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. And this can make the DRC have the third highest GDP, gross domestic product, in the world. AJ, karibu sana, shalom. The value of the minerals in the eastern part of the DRC alone is 24 trillion American dollars. The value of the US economy last year was 28 trillion dollars, followed by China, 27 trillion. So the DRC can be the third highest country in the world in terms of gross domestic product. The gold in Congo, copper ore, copper cathodes, diamonds, cobalt, coltan. We have iron ore in Tanzania, bauxite in Tanzania and Ghana, gold in Ghana and Mali, in South Africa, copper also in Zambia. We have cocoa in the Ivory Coast, rubber in Liberia. So today is about how Africa can secure her economy. AJ, any dimensions? How we can secure our economy. Because China secured the economy by investing in ports and special economic zones to attract foreign companies. And now China is the world's fastest and the second largest economy in the world. Now, Africa, we have the largest youth population. Nowhere else in the world can you find a higher number of young people than Africa. So we have the human resources, we have the natural resources, we have the mineral resources. So we should implement what I just talked about. We should implement the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which many Africans don't know about. This agreement is to make Africa a free trade area, that you can do business freely, no tariffs, and it was established in 2018 and became effective on 1st of January 2021. The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which will make Africa a free market of 55 countries. So you'll be able to go anywhere in Africa to trade, to buy and sell goods. But because of this is not yet happening, we are seeing migration. Many Africans are going abroad. They are migrating to Europe, to America, Asia, everywhere. So we are at the risk of the brain drain, losing our best brains, our most educated and energetic population. So I was saying that we should have an African sovereign wealth fund based in Addis Ababa at the African Union, and that every African country should contribute to this African sovereign wealth fund a particular quota. If it's Congo, from their gold, cobalt, diamonds, copper, lithium. They have so many minerals. Oil in Nigeria and Angola. So all our member states contribute to this African Sovereign Wealth Fund. that can be able now to secure our economy, like Norway has done. Norway has a sovereign wealth fund based on the proceeds of their offshore oil. They have oil in the sea. So all the money from the oil that they drill from the sea, they put it in a sovereign wealth fund to secure their nation's future. So we should have an African sovereign wealth fund to secure our economy and our future, because at the moment, all our mineral wealth is being taken away to other countries, foreign countries. They're the ones who are enjoying our wealth, our gold, our oil, our diamonds, our copper. Africa is still building other economies. And so we should have this African Sovereign Wealth Fund, whereby we have every member state contributing a quota, that is QUOTA, contributing to the wealth fund from our natural resources. You can even have in the fund gold in that fund to secure our economy. You can have gold and diamonds there to secure our economy in case of global economic shocks. AJ, Africa is the wealthiest continent, but bringing them together is a problem because of corruption. Yes, because of corruption and influence from other, what we call the former powers who used to colonize Africa. But we can get there. All is not lost. All is not lost. Africa is the richest continent in the world in terms of resources. Liz Hams. But there's greediness of some leaders. The leaders must change to be men of honor, not wealth. Yeah. We had men like Thomas Sankara in the Burkina Faso. But he was killed because he was not corrupt and he had a vision for Burkina Faso. So I'm saying that we should have this African Sovereign Wealth Fund. But as we are saying here, our leaders must stop being corrupt. Corruption is our problem. It's the biggest problem in Africa. We have African governments that have sold mining rights for a very small amount of money just because they get some kickbacks. So this is a problem in Africa. So unless we have incorruptible leaders, leaders of integrity and vision, determined to take Africa to the next level, our economy will always be at the mercy of America or China. AJ, our leaders are very greedy, more than greedy. That's the tragedy of Africa. Just talking about the Democratic Republic of Congo alone, it's amazing. The DRC can generate electricity for almost the entire African continent. The value of their minerals might be, I don't know, 50 or even 60 trillion US dollars. If the Eastern DRC alone is worth 24 trillion American dollars. But if you go there, the roads are non-existent, poor roads, the people are poor, no schools, poor health care. And it's because other foreign interests just want to keep Congo in conflict so as to benefit from Congo's resources. And this happened right from independence when they took out Patrice Lumumba, who was Congo's first prime minister. So Africa, we have all the resources we need. We have all the land that we need to grow food. We have no reason to migrate to America or to Europe. Those countries, they are coming to Africa. Their companies are coming to Africa and they are extracting, they are scooping our mineral wealth literally into trucks and tippers and then drive to the ports, maybe of Dar es Salaam or Durban or Apapa in Nigeria, and they ship out our wealth. So it's time for Africa to take control of our economy. We take control of our mineral resources, the mining concessions. Let our leaders stop stealing from our future by stealing public funds, engaging in corruption, and in the process making African people poor. That is one way, and the only way that we can secure our economy is by having integrity in our governance. Leaders who will not steal. We change our mindset that you don't have to steal when you become a leader, a prime minister, or a president, but rather you should be the custodian of the nation's interests and resources and wealth. This is a challenge in Africa, but we must secure our economy with good governance, that is transparency, integrity, building road networks, roads connecting African countries, implementing the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, and establishing the African Sovereign Wealth Fund, which will be backed by gold, oil, Saudi Arabia, their economy is backed by oil. So why not Africa? And we have oil, we have gold, we have lithium, we have copper, cobalt, bauxite, all kinds of precious minerals and resources which are even used now in the electric industry. Cobalt and coltan, which are used to manufacture mobile phones, they are found in the DRC and in Zambia. There is no reason for us to be poor. We have everything. God has given us everything we need to live a rich life, to have the highest standards of living, of education, of medical care. Let us secure our economy, Africa. Let us demand accountability and integrity from our political leaders, from our governments. That is the only way we will secure our economy and our future. Thank you very much.